Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacqueline. I'm a third grade teacher. I teach here in Louisiana, and this is my second year teaching. In this video, I'm just going to be answering your questions that you guys sent me over Instagram. Some of them are about teaching and others are just random questions just about my life. So I hope that you guys get to know me a little bit better, or hopefully I can give you guys some good advice about like what I do for teaching and stuff like that. I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm also going to link down my Instagram accounts below. I have a teaching account where I just share teaching content, and then I have a personal account which you guys can also follow where it's just like my life outside of teaching. Go ahead and follow those accounts and let's get to this. So the first question I'm going to answer is, when did you know you wanted to become a teacher? So I knew I wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. I loved playing school, but more specifically, I loved being the teacher. So every time it was my turn to be the student, I would quit because I just didn't think the game was fun unless I was a teacher. But when I went to high school and I was getting older, I guess I was just influenced to pursue a different path. So I actually went to college to pursue a business administration degree, and teaching was like not really an option. I remember in high school, my senior year, we had to do like a project on, our career, the career that we were going to pursue, and we had to give so much information, like what would be our salary and all that stuff. And when I was like thinking about teaching, I was like, oh my goodness, that is not the lifestyle I want. I'm gonna be poor. Like, it just didn't seem like a successful route to take, which is a really sad way to look at it. So anyways, I pursued a different degree, and that was that. But then during college, I was going on mission trips and I was serving in different ways, but teaching was my favorite. And I just felt like it had always been a desire of mine, and I just kind of let the influence of the world kind of like change my mind. So yeah, it just became really clear to me during those mission trips that I was pursuing the wrong degree and that I need to go back and change my major and pursue teaching. So it was kind of a messy process and season, just because I felt like my whole world was changing. All of my plans were changing, but I just allowed God to take control of that area of my life and just run with it. So yeah, then I just pursued teaching, and now I'm a teacher. But long story short, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I just didn't pursue it right away when I went off to college because the world's definition of success was not teaching. What is your routine like after school, and how do you balance it all? My afternoon routine is very sad because I don't do anything. I get home at like 4:15, and as soon as I get home, we go on a walk, mostly because our dog is a very energetic puppy. So we go on a very long walk. That way when we get home, he's chill. So once we do get home, we cook and eat, and then we just watch a movie. We're huge movie people, so we're always watching a movie. But yeah, my evening routine is not that exciting. I'm always wondering, like, your next question is, how do you balance it all? Well, I feel like my life isn't that hard to balance just because I don't have any kids, but I'm always wondering what it's gonna be like when I do have kids, because I'm like, how? Like, I don't know how teachers do it, for the teachers that have kids and then they come home after a long day of work. Like, when I come home, I'm exhausted because I poured all my energy out during the day. And so when I get home, I'm literally like, it's just time to chill, So I can't imagine coming home to like kids. So I don't know. That's a really good question. You should totally ask someone who has kids though, because my life is not that hard to balance. Like, I go to school, I go to work, and I come home and I chill, and then my weekends are great. Like, I don't do any schoolwork on the weekends, and I'm not like, I don't have kids, so I'm not taking care of my kids on the weekends. So I don't know. Life is good. what is my makeup routine, I will link that here. I did a video on it, and yeah. How soon after graduation did you find a job? So I graduated 1 week, and then the next weekend I got married, and then I went off to my honeymoon, and literally the day after we got back from our honeymoon, I went to the job fair and did a whole bunch of interviews, and then I got a call back for the very next day after job fair to go to second interviews. So I went to those, and then I'd say like a week or two after that, I got the call that I got a job. So I would say like right after graduation, I got a job. What is your favorite classroom management tool? I really love the clip chart. I know a lot of people don't like the clip chart, and I totally get it, but it all depends how you use it. So I love telling my students to move their clips up, and they love it so much. So for my homeroom class, every time I see someone, you know, on task or doing what they're supposed to do, or, you know, stuff like that, I'll tell them to go move their clip up. And that just motivates everybody, and it helps them to stay on track. At the end of the day, if they get on pink, which is the top tier, they get a slip, which is just like kind of like fake money, and then they collect those, and then if you get 15 of them, they can go into my treasure box. And I have really good stuff in my treasure box. So they are very motivated by it. I also love class points because it motivates them as a whole class, and they get really excited for that. So they have to have 50 class points to have a movie day. And I mean, I'm excited for a movie day. So do your students know you have a YouTube channel? My morning class knows I have a YouTube channel. Not all of them, mostly the girls. It all starts with one person. So one of my girls knew, and then it just spread. It has never been a classroom discussion. It's kind of just like awkward. I remember one morning I was by my classroom door, and I was taking temperature checks and sanitizing hands as my students walked in, and all I heard was, "Miss Hall has a YouTube channel." And I'm literally hearing kids whisper about it. And then one of my students, every time I post a new video, she'll comment on it, like in person. She'll be like, "Miss Hall, I saw what you wore for Halloween." Or, "Miss Hall, I like what you did with your garage," and stuff like that. So I know she's keeping up with me. Do you have a favorite student? I know you're not supposed to, but I get super attached to some. I don't have a favorite student, but I love them all like uniquely. Like they're all so different, so I connect with them personally for different reasons, you know? Where do you get your home decor? A little bit from everywhere, like Amazon, Target, definitely Target, and then like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and stuff like that. Do you have any book recommendations for new teachers? If you haven't already, you should totally read The First Days of School by Harry Wong. I read that one before I started teaching, like front to back. So that one was a really good one, just because he gave so many different examples and scenarios and stuff like that. How often do you have issues with parents? For example, their disapproval of their child's grade. Luckily, I have not had any issues with parents, and I do work at a school where there's really little to no parent involvement, and maybe that's a reason why no parents have contacted me. So like here and there, I'll have a few parents just asking me how their child is doing, but never like issues or never unhappy parents, not that I know of. So I'm pretty lucky with that. What college did you go to? I went to University of New Orleans. How much time outside of the classroom do you spend working? Little to none, honestly. I'm doing a lot better than I was last year, because last year I was teaching all subjects. So last year my Sundays were devoted to schoolwork, whether it was lesson planning or getting ready for the next day. Sundays was not a weekend for me. It was more so a work day. But this year I'm only teaching 3 subjects, so it's really not that bad. I get everything done during my work hours, and every morning I do get to work very early. Our morning duty begins at 7:45-ish, But I get to school around 7:15 every day. So I do have about 30 minutes every single morning before school starts to get stuff done. And then I also have my breaks to work on all the workload that I have. And that way I leave right after the bell, and my weekends are no longer devoted to schoolwork whatsoever. Like I said, last year Sundays were not fun. It was not Sunday fun day. I definitely encourage you guys to spend your planning period actually planning. Have you ever had second thoughts about being a teacher? Not like real thoughts where I'm like looking for a different career path, but there are of course some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the hardest job ever. Why did I pick it? You know? Especially last year, the first week of school, it was my first year teaching. I literally came home every day and I was like, what on earth was I thinking? This is the hardest job ever. I would literally be like, do I have to go back? You know, like what happens if I don't go back to school next week? Yeah, your first year as a teacher, those first 2 weeks are like a total shock of like everything that a teacher has to do. So that first 2 weeks, I was like, what did I get myself into? But now I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm used to it, and I just balance the workload better than I did last year. How do you separate your teaching life and your everyday life? As far as workload, like I just said, I don't do any work outside of school, but mentally, I don't think it's possible to separate them. At least for me, I'm always thinking about school. Even if I'm not doing schoolwork, like on the weekends, I'm thinking about school, I'm thinking about my students, I'm thinking about the upcoming week. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to like mentally separate them both, but physically, like I said, I'm pretty good at working at work and having a separate life outside of work. What was your biggest takeaway from your student teaching experience? I think my biggest takeaway was building confidence, especially for me. Like my voice is very like, not even low, like I can teach with a loud voice, but my voice is just a very like soft voice, I guess. So before I was student teaching, I was wondering if I was gonna be a good teacher because my voice was so soft. So yeah, during student teaching, building confidence was like key for me. Learning how to use my voice, even if it is a soft voice, that's totally okay. Do you feel valued as a teacher? Okay, I don't know if any teachers feel valued for being a teacher, but I will say my students do make me feel valued as their teacher, and that's all that matters. Like, even when I feel like, I'm not good enough, or like I'm at the bottom of the chain because I'm a teacher, my students make me feel like I'm a superhero. Like they make me feel so seen. I'm gonna cry. They make me feel loved and seen and valued, and that's all that matters because they're the ones that I see every day. They're the ones that I'm impacting every day and influencing every day. So honestly, who cares? Like, who cares if I'm not valued as a teacher by outsiders or like, people outside of the education system? They don't know what you do every day. They will never sit in your classroom and see everything that you're doing. Like your kids will. So I want to feel valued by those that I'm impacting and inspiring every day, and that's my students, and they do a really good job with making me feel valued. So that's a little bit of how I feel about that. Well, that's it, you guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop a comment down below and I will answer them. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys later.